are they going to force the nickel Saturday?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
How much does Austin Peay, what they do offensively, is that going to force the nickel or more three linebacker sets?
Again, we've been preparing for the things that they've been doing in the past. Obviously, last year, and although they were multiple throughout the year, we're expecting to play both base defense and nickel package.
As a new coach in a first game, it's probably all some uncertainties, but then is it magnified when you're playing as many true freshmen as you're going to be playing the uncertainties of the first game?
Yeah, that compounds it. Yeah, I mean that's part of it. I mean we knew that when we came here, and we knew that we would end up playing a lot of young kids and guys with inexperience. But at the same time, we've got some guys, especially up front and at the linebacker position, that'll be able to help us, hopefully, hurry the quarterback a little bit faster. Where we get enough, where we can affect the quarterback that if they do throw the ball, those guys will be in good position, and hopefully they'll make some plays.
We've seen you play a lot of freshmen before. This is new for you. Having three walk-ons in the depth chart center, is that going to move for you?
Yes. Yes. To tell you the truth, yes.
When camp started, you all had a tentative depth chart, I guess, and kind of a feel from spring practice. Has anybody or anything changed your opinions about in the secondary during camp? Any players or any
surprises? Really. I mean, well, the only surprise is obviously is the amount of reps that the young guys have gotten, and, which again in the long run will help us as a football team in developing the depth that we need. And and again, the same guys that have been very consistent, the Justin Coleman's, the Brian Randolph's, Ladero McNeil, Byron Moore, obviously the experiences at the safety position, and that's helped us, grow a little bit faster in the secondary, helping those young guys in the corner.
What about the three walk-ons listed as backups on that depth chart there? Would you feel okay about playing those guys?
They're playing. So
feeling okay.
I like them. I like their attitude. Obviously, we got to see how they play. We got to see how they respond to playing in front of our fans in that environment, an unbelievable atmosphere. So that'll be a true test to see how they go through it, and will they produce and be effective.
You've been in this league a long time. Have you ever seen three walk-ons in a secondary in the SEC ever? I mean,
No.
I didn't think so.
I've not studied enough of the teams, but I know the anxiety is built.
Given your youth back there, who did it look to for leadership during a game?
Justin Coleman and Brian Randolph were the first two guys that come to mind. And like I said before, the good thing is that we've got that leadership, the experience of Brian, Randolph, and Justin Coleman, but Byron Moore, Ladero McNeil, who went through it last year as a freshman. You can see his communication with them, whether it's, I know Jerron has played nickel before, but it's really a new position for him from the standpoint of he's the number one guy right now, and Swafford backing him up. Obviously, at the corner position, you've got Cam and Malik Foreman and Reggie Jewell. So they're going to see playing time, and they've really worked. They've worked really hard. They've grown a lot in the last month, so to speak. So I'm looking forward to seeing them play. I think they are too, and I'm excited about it. And so Saturday couldn't be any quicker. Really. You're welcome.
Come in.
Your corners, and not to get too much specific on scheme, but do you guys like to match up corners with receivers and they stay on one side of the field usually, or how do you think it's been in the game?
We're very multiple. It depends on the game.
Yeah.
But usually those are the guys who are covering the wideouts.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, very multiple. So we'll mix and match, and depending on what we see. But we're ready. We're ready for that.
Not necessarily like field and boundary corner, that kind of thing.
No. very flexible.
Seems like a trend lately is for a lot of teams around the country play nickel a lot and go into their nickel package. Is that true for you guys as well? Do y'all like to throw that nickel back in there a lot?
Well, you like to match up the personnel with their personnel, and a lot of times it's 5 defensive backs because you see so many offenses now with 3 wide receivers or 4 wide receivers. So you have to match up the personnel with it. But that's not to say that they were not going to line up in a base offense. And, we're prepared for that too. But yeah, you see more and more of it because more offenses are in that 3 wide, 4 wide.
It seemed like the guys that we talked to yesterday, we said, what can you expect from Austin P? And they said, we're expecting a lot of trick plays. How difficult does that make it for you guys trying to figure out what exactly they're going to do?
Well, it goes back to our training camp and really spring ball. You really you're practicing all those, responsibilities and your assignments, and you're teaching them about their eye, the eye keys. Put your keys where they're supposed to be, and if you're reading the right keys, regardless if they run a trick play or regardless if they run a play you have not seen, you just, they're coached up to adjust and adapt and expect the unexpected. And but we trained it. We trained throughout this camp, and like I said, you had spring ball where you're always practicing, different scenarios. Whether you're playing an option football team or whether you're playing a spread offense as far as throwing the ball or a power offense, you go over a lot of those things that you might see.
Coach, playing in front of 104,000 this Saturday, and running out to the tee for the first time, what's your preconceived notion? Like, what do you have running through your head and that kind of thing?
As far as for me or for
yeah,
players?
For you.
Well, I've been in that environment 5 times. So from an opponent and the energy that's in that stadium and the fans who are always supportive, so I'm excited to be a part of it now and feed off of it. And, it's going to be a great atmosphere, obviously. And, I'm looking forward to it. I know I may not be able to run through the tee though, but I'll see it and obviously be excited to be a part of it.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
2 more.
You be in the booth or on the field, or what's your location during the games?
The booth.
You're in the booth, and who's up there with you typically?
Well,
Who's gonna be
on defense it'll be me and some of our graduate assistants.
Okay, so you're the only defense. And I mean, do you have a preference on that? Do you like being in the booth versus the field?
I do in coaching the secondary. You see a lot more. The only thing that you obviously remove yourself from is the emotion, the eyes of the players, and feeling the body language. But again, we have an outstanding staff that evaluates that and is always on top of it. But from a secondary standpoint, you can see so much. You can anticipate what's about to happen. And so I like it.
Coach Austin Peay's coming in here talking about throwing the ball around. Obviously, they're a team with not a whole lot to lose coming in and kneeling and playing. Does that make them a little scary? Not scary, but maybe is that kind of an interesting dynamic? They're a team, a smaller team coming in here with nothing to lose, playing in front of a huge crowd like they are.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that we say to our players all the time, you're working since January. So regardless of who you play, let's be the best Tennessee football team we can be ourselves and worry about the things that we can control, and our assignments, effort, focus, putting ourselves in a position to make plays and not concentrate so much of our opponent from the standpoint when you're preparing. Now, obviously, this week we've been really dialed in on Austin Peay, and we recognize that they've got some players and playmakers, and they've got some guys that have transferred in there, and that we know are really good players. And they've got the attention of our football team, and we're excited to play.
How good a read do you have on a team going into an opener based